Hello ladies and lads, moms and dads, crooks and cops, dabs and pops. It's time to drop another exciting video from TikTapTop where your boy, that's me, drops some serious heavy knowledge on the viewers, that's you. Today's word of the day is Utopia. Utopia refers to an ideal society where everything is as good as it can possibly be for everyone in that society. Have you ever imagined being a king or a queen? A prince or a princess where you get to control and change a place for the better or for the worse? Of course you have imagined it, you sneaky little fella. We all have. It's like one of those hypothetical scenarios we make in our heads to see what happens if your classroom ceiling fan decides to fall down. Our brains are great at generating the what if kind of questions, like what if we make wheels round rather than it being square? Well, then we get faster. What if we put pineapples on pizza? Well, that's oddly delicious. What if we make our own country dictated by our own rules so that everybody is happy and the world is a better place? Now this begs the question, is that really possible? With such illuminated questions tucked away in the back of his mind, our hero continues on, making his way across South India. And so far in my story, I'm heading further south in the South Indian state of Tamil Nadu, in search of a town that had been a French colonial settlement in India until 1954. Which brings us to Pondicherry. Is the French colonial rule over in Pondicherry? Is the French colonial influence over in Pondicherry? No way. The city still has many colonial buildings, churches, temples and statues which, combined with the French style of town planning, still preserve much of that colonial ambience. From its beaches to historical monuments and from its temples to churches, Pondicherry is an interesting tourist destination in India. But it's also a special place for the seekers of spirituality. We'll come back to this point, but first let me bring you back to the main topic of this video, Utopia. It is human nature to dream, and dream we did. And from time immemorial, the humankind dreamt about Utopia, a place that is better than here, where everybody is treated equally. No crime, no poverty, no sausage with milk for breakfast, just a cool, chill place where everybody coexists peacefully. Throughout history, humans have tried to replicate this society through songs, stories, and also in real life. Garden of Eden, Shangri-La, or the Atlantis ring any bells from down underwater? There are even more examples to give, but I feel like I could be walking on religious eggshells, and if there is one thing that I dislike, it's walking on eggshells. Eggs comes out of but history has shown that utopia is extremely hard to attain and most of them fail. The cost of focusing specifically on a society sacrifices on individuality. You just can't expect every individual to absolutely obey each and every law without question. People are unique and have their own unique opinions and needs in life. If we bring in people to build an equal society, there will be those who carry ideas and opinions that are directly conflicting with the ideas and opinions of others. This basically means that not every idea or opinion can simultaneously be satisfied. If even one citizen of our hypothetical society cannot equally be satisfied, then it is not an equal society. It is not utopia. You see how this is getting harder. Even then, keeping all this in mind and against all odds, a handful of towns have sprung up around the world designed with a realistic ideal society in mind. One of which is in India, Oroville. Located right next to Pondicherry in the state of Tamil Nadu is this township called Oroville, and they don't define themselves as a utopia, rather an experimental township, which I think is a clever and fail-safe way of saying utopia. Oroville is a spiritual community based on the teachings of Sri Aurobindo and his compatriot Mira Alfasa aka the Mother. It is a universal town where people from anywhere in the world can live in as long as they follow the rules of this place, and the rules are as follows. Number 1, lose the sense of personal possession. Number 2, you gotta be free from social and moral conventions. Number 3, you have to work and be a productive member. Number 4, you have to strive for human unity. Number 5, respect nature and your environment. Number 6, respect each other. Number 7, you should be on your way to spiritual enlightenment, but you cannot recruit followers for your cause. Drop down in the comments how many of these rules will you be able to follow. Let the world know how woke you truly are. Oroville is intended to be a place of unending education for all, so you have to keep on learning and teach if possible. And as the former quiz club president of my high school, I would have to say I strongly endorse this. Perhaps one of Oroville's greatest achievements was in building an ecological utopia, meaning a society that finds ways to relate to nature by limiting the modern way of living that destroys nature and promoting a traditional way of living that is much more sustainable. This experimental township attracts a variety of people to it. And as I previously mentioned, there are the spiritual seekers, and then there are those who seek a different way of living. People who aren't comfortable with the normal version of a society, and people that would just like to live with the nature. It's a hipster's paradise. Every society will have its own versions of problems. Oroville is no exception. But within the 51 years of its existence, they have managed to build a system to deal with these issues within themselves rather than seeking external advice, and in the most effective way possible. So, mi amigos, the question still remains, is a utopia really possible? Possibly. It requires that each individual of the society remain adaptable and be willing to compromise and accept. It requires discipline to learn from the past mistakes and take carefully planned steps to the future. And above all else, it requires courage. The courage to lose in the short term so that the individual or their community can gain in the long term. Boys and girls, take notes, because utopia doesn't exist in the brain of one person or a group, but rather it emerges from our collective interactions with one another as individuals. So support each other in their endeavors in whichever little way you can, starting today. For instance, if you like this video and wants to continue the flow of deep-fried nuggets of knowledge coming your way, consider subscribing. And if you made it this far in the video, congratulations, because I have two special announcements to make. Number 1, with this video, I'm marking the reboot of this YouTube channel, which I temporarily left for dead due to my procrastination habits. That's right, friends, TikTapTop is open for business across all major social media platforms. Instagram, follow it, Facebook, share it, Twitter, tweet it, and YouTube, watch that shit. Number 2, I'm looking for a thing to do at the end of my videos. So far what I got is maybe end a video with a random fact or a quote or maybe a thought provoker. If you geniuses have a better idea, comment them below or DM me. Unlike your crushes, I'll let you slide and maybe even give you tips on how to slide into them DMs better. Who knows, you will. Fact! The only part of your reflection you can lick is your tongue. Go ahead, you know what you have to do. This video is over.